43 to 44% of the websites made in the internet are made with WordPress. We can see it is in many sources such as ChatGPT that of course takes a lot of data from a lot of websites. We can even search in the WordPress.com website where 43% of the websites that are made worldwide, like in the internet, are made with WordPress. In today's video, you are going to learn how to build landing pages almost for free. It's not free, but it's very cheap. So we're going to learn how to build a very beautiful landing page with WordPress. Keep in mind, doing websites with WordPress can be one of the best things you do in your business because you can do literally whatever you want to. Of course, you don't know about coding and you don't need coding in order to build websites with WordPress, but nowadays we have ChatGPT, right? So if we want something very, very, very technical that we couldn't do with any other CMS, we're going to be able to do it because we have HTML widgets that allow JavaScript in the websites that you're going to build. And thanks to ChatGPT that knows how to code, we're going to be able to do that. So literally with WordPress, you can do any website you want to. And yeah, let's go straight into it. The first step to start doing WordPress websites is to have an hosting, okay? You cannot build websites with WordPress if you don't have a hosting. In this case, I am using hostinger.com, okay? It's one of the cheaper and the best options out there in the market. And I use it daily for my business and for my clients because it works very good. It is really, really fast. A lot of WordPress websites, they can go a little bit slow, but if you have a good hosting, you can actually avoid that. So in this case, I am using Hostinger to avoid any kind of problem, okay? And they have a really great option to, if your website drops, you can bucket it up really fast. So that is exactly what I am doing for my websites and my clients. I really recommend using Hostinger as is one of the cheapest. You can see the pricing here. If we go in pricing, you're going to see you can pay £3 a month. So yeah, you will have a link in the description to sign up with Hostinger down below. Once you have the Hostinger, we're gonna go on to the next step. Once in the Hostinger panel, okay, in the dashboard of Hostinger, hpanel.hostinger.com, we're going to see this dashboard, okay? And we're going to add a website, okay? And you're going to have different options. Now this is new. You can actually deploy Node.js web apps. This is really good. I didn't know this. This is for coding website, okay? Coded websites and actually web apps, okay? Softwares. It is really good. I just realized it exists. But yeah, let's go with WordPress again. Let's create a website with WordPress. Now, of course, we need to put in our email and we're going to need a password, okay? This is really important. Do not forget this password that you're going to have. It is the way that you're going to have access to your website, okay? So let's go on next. Now, I don't really recommend doing any one of these ones, okay? You can create a website with AI or pre-built websites, but in this case we're not going to do any of this because we're going to build websites that are very, very personalized, okay? So we don't want any one of this, and I do not recommend doing any of this, okay? So let's go and create blank site. Of course, we have now a domain. In this case, if you don't know what domain to use yet, you can actually use a temporary domain. This is really useful when you're building a website and you have your domain, but you don't want to publish the changes and the website's changes that you're doing meanwhile you're doing the website, right? I use a temporary domain even though I have one right now, but let's do a temporary domain for now. Now it's going to install the WordPress website, okay? Of course, it's not going to install any website. We're going to have to build it. But yeah, this is the website that we're going to build. Now, the next step, meanwhile this installs, we're going to go to Google and we're going to search for Pro Elements, okay? This is something that we're going to need in order to actually build our own website. proelements.org. Now click download. I'm not going to do it because I already have it, but this is really important. This is basically a website builder inside WordPress, okay? Keep in mind the WordPress builder is really, really ugly and really, really bad. So we're going to need a plugin to have a better builder and to have a scalable builder. This is basically the dashboard of a WordPress website, right? We have a lot of things here. When I started doing WordPress websites, I didn't really like them, okay? I didn't understand anything, right? But I am going to explain you a little bit, right? So in the left bar, all right, as you can see here, we have different options, different sections, right? We're going to mainly work with the plugins ones, the users, if we're going to work with all the people, and of course the pages, okay? Now in this case, we have the hosting a website right here, yeah? Where you can actually add domain and everything, right? Now, what we're going to do is go on plugins, right? Plugins are basically things that you install into your WordPress websites in order to add more things, right? Keep in mind, a WordPress website without anything is just blank, right? And you need to install different plugins in order to have different options and different things that you want in your website, right? So in this case, what we're going to do is I don't want Hostinger AI. I don't want Hostinger easy onboarding, not rich, nor tools. I just want the light speed cache, right? This is mainly to speed up our websites. So I'm going to bulk actions and delete all those options, right? Okay, once all those plugins are uninstalled, the things we're going to need is we're going to go and add a plugin. We're going to install Elementor, right? This is basically a builder that we're going to need in order to build our websites, right? So go and install now. Now, if you use Elementor and you pay the Elementor version, you're going to have to pay a lot, right? I honestly don't like to pay a lot of money monthly for something that should be free. So we use Pro Elements because it makes a lot of features that Elementor Pro has for free, right? So we're going to activate. And now that we have activated the plugin, we're going to go to install plugins again. And we're going to add a plugin and go to upload a plugin. And you're going to need to upload the zip format of the Pro Elements that you installed before. Okay, so drag them in, install now, activate plugin. And there we go. Now we can start building websites with WordPress. Really, really easy, right? So we're going to go on pages, okay? And we're going to add a page and you're going to see it doesn't look very good, right? Do you remember when I said it is not the best option to use WordPress Builder? Well, this is the WordPress Builder, right? You can actually do and add some titles here and add some features and things, but it is not going to be really scalable if you want to do great things and if you want your websites to look good, right? So we use edit with Elementor, right? Now skip this, and now we are on our website, okay? So now we're going to find a lot of things in the left dashboard, right? In the left bar. You can see here, we have literally on our hands anything that we want to build thanks to Elementor. In order to start with building a website, we need a web design or a landing page design, right? So let's go and do that, right? What I'm going to do is search on Google for different websites of my competitors, right? Okay, so this is the website of Proton VPN, right? And let's say I wanted to replicate this website, right? If you don't know what VPNs are, basically you can change the location of where you're using your internet, right? For example, if you go to Netflix and you're living in the UK and there is a movie that is not available in the UK, but it is available in other countries such as, I don't know, Spain, you can actually change where you're watching or using the internet from thanks to VPNs, okay? That is the essential things that VPNs do. Okay, so in this case, we're going to replicate this landing page. So it is very long. So I am going to stick onto maybe the half of the page, right? But let's start building this because it looks very good. And as you can see in the URL, you can see this is a Black Friday campaign. So we're going to actually replicate this. So let's go and do that right now. Let's go back to our WordPress website, as you can see right here. And the first thing you need to understand is containers and grids. This can be a little bit tedious for beginners, but you need to understand this, right? We're going to go on Flexbox and we're going to set use this one, okay? Now, when you build this one, right, what you need to do is add an element, right? And this is basically a thing that we use in order to add different things, right? For example, titles, right? And below this, I can use a subtitle, and below this, I can use an image, right? So now we have different things, as you can see right here, okay? Now, before anything, I strongly recommend to go and hide title. Okay, if you go to page settings, hide the title and use the element of width. Okay, that is going to help us to build websites that are horizontally, right? We're going to be able to change the aspect ratio of the websites. We want our websites to be media responsive, which means when a person looks on their laptop or on their PC or on their phones, it is going to adapt for their screens. Okay, so let's go and actually build this. Okay, as I was saying, we have flexbox and grids, right? So we're going to start and select the flexbox that is going to the downside, right? And what we're going to do, this is basically, as I said, to add different things, okay? And what we want to do here is, as you can see here, we have like two sides of the first part, right? In web design, this is called a hero, right? The first thing that you see in a website is always called a hero, right? Because it's the intro of a website, right? They are telling you what is the thing that they're trying to sell you. For example, in this case, best Black Friday VPN deal, right? And you have here get the VPN and whatever and the image, right? Okay, so when we're going to start building a website, we're going to press here and select, in this case, because our website is divided into zones, left and right, as you can see here, we have in the left zones, we have different things, right? And in the right area of the website of the hero page, this is called the hero page, right? The hero area, when you look into a website, the first thing you see is the hero, okay? As you can see here, is the first thing you actually see in a website, and they're trying to explain you what this landing page is all about, okay? So they're trying to sell us right now a VPN, of course. So we have the left area that is going to this down, and then the right area that is going to down. So this is a grid. A grid basically means we can separate the things that we want in different areas. Okay, so let's go to our website, our WordPress website. If we select grid, okay, we have different things, yeah, different sections, and we want this one because, as you can see here, this is divided by two sections: the text sections and all the sections that are telling us how this works, and then the image, right? So we're going to select this one. Now here we're going to add a container, right, inside each one of these. This is going to help us to add different things inside those grids. Okay, so if we don't use this, yeah, for example, if I delete this container, I'm going to add a heading here, and then I am going to add an image here, and it is going to go on the right side. Okay, and we want is have different things and multiple things in the left area. So we're going to do that, and we do that by using the container. The container are basically a zone feature to use different things within a container. That is the name, right? We can use different things within a container. Now we want firstly the title, then below it we want a subtitle. Okay, so text editor. Okay, it is called in Elementor. Below it is we want the get Proton VPN. Okay, this is the button. Okay, we want a button. And then we also want another subtitle here. And then we also want some features, okay? So this is a little bit, yeah, icons, right? So, and then we search for icon list, right? This one here, okay? Below it, we're going to add this thing that is called, if I remember well, it was a border, a divider. A divider, yeah. You can see here. Okay, and then if we scroll down, okay, we're going to see this. And as you can see, there is a subtitle and then more things like pictures, right? So here we're going to need a grid, okay? So below this, we're going to need a grid of two, right? Of two columns and one row, okay? We're going to add the text editor, okay? And then we're going to add the images, okay? Now, it can look a bit difficult, but it is actually not, okay? We're just using containers and grids in order to build our website, right? It is really important that we understand how containers and grids work, okay? So keep in mind, containers again works for adding things into the container, and grids are basically to divide things in different areas, right? Now we have this, right? It is not looking very good, of course, but we're going to adjust it in a few minutes with the power of styling. Okay, this is just the basic thing. After this, we have the left section. Okay, when you build a website, this is how it should look like before the styling. Okay, it doesn't look good, but it should look like this. Now we're going to add an image in the right area, so we're going to do that. Yeah. Now let's go on the styling. Now, if you don't know this, if you go into any website and you click right click, okay, and you go on inspect, you're going to see here code. Okay, this is basically code. But if you open up this thing here, yeah, and you use this thing here, okay, the select an element in the page to inspect, you're going to see that you can inspect anything of the website, right? As you can see here, this is a grid. Okay, this is a div that you can see here. This is a grid, okay, as we did it. And then if we go on here, we're going to see exactly here, as you, in the right bottom area, you're going to see exactly the styling of this title. So we have the font family, that is Inter, and then we have the font size and the line height, that is basically the separation between lines. So as we see, we're going to need the font family Inter, okay? So we're going to go back here and we go to style, typography, and we're going to search for Inter. Okay, we got that right there, right? And the font weight is 600, so 600 exactly. And we've got a white, yeah, this is white. So we're going to use a white background. Here, background white. It's not looking right now anything because we don't have a background, but we're going to change that now. So how would we do that? If we go into the grid level and we go on the styling and we go on background overlay, yeah, we're going to have the opportunity to change our background. Okay, so if I go on classic on gradient, I'm going to be able to search for different colors. Okay, let's say I want red. This is not looking good, right? So what we do is again go and inspect the page. I think this is an image. So yeah, this is an image. So what we're going to do is go and install this image. Okay, once we have the image installed, I just did it. Instead of using this background, we're going to classic image and we're going to use our image. Okay, it's going to load and then we're going to be able to use this image. Okay, we're going to have here an option to select the image in just a few seconds and then we're going to continue. And as you can see here, we're already using the background, yeah? Now, what is it looking like this? Because we are using opacity. And if we go back up, we're going to see exactly the same that they're doing. As we don't have exactly the same picture because this is a downloaded image and they have original image, they have on a better quality. But as we are trying to replicate it, we're going to do that with the same. So what we're going to do is just opacity to 1, okay? Now, what is it looking like this? Why do we have a border? Because if we go to the image, it is a vertical image. So what we're going to do is display size, and we're going to go on cover, okay? And it should be looking a bit similar. So what we need to do is go and center, okay? Center the image, and I am using an image resolution of medium large, okay? This is not a really big image, as you can see right here, right? And we try to do exactly the same as they are doing, but as this image is vertical, is looking kind of weird, right? So we cannot exactly do as they're doing, right? But it is looking quite good, right? The image. Now, once we have that, then we can actually go and start with the following things, right? So we'll go and change, of course, the text. Best Black Friday VPN deal. So we're going to go and best Black Friday. Then we go and separate lines, right? We end on Friday and then we go into the next line. So this is very important so you understand. We need to use a little bit of coding here, yeah? Because if I go and, go on the next line and I use best, VPN deal, it doesn't go on the page, right? What we're going to do in order to achieve this is a little bit of coding, as I said, but not much. It's just It's just a tag, right? You can actually go on ChatGPT and ask them how to separate lines with HTML in a title, right? And they're going to tell you to use the break tag, right? As you can see here, break, okay? So we use this and exactly as we were going to do, right? So now we have two lines exactly as they have, right? And now we're going to exactly copy this website. So what we want to do is exactly have the same size. So they have 3.75 rem, which is a sizing method, okay? So we're going to go and 375, okay? 75, okay? So now it's looking quite similar. What are we missing? This is all in uppercase, so we'll have to change it. The VPN view was like this. No, okay, so like this. Okay, now we have that. Then we go on to the subtitle, Black Friday, but okay, we copied it, we change it, okay. Of course, you're going to need to adjust this for your website, but I'm just giving you a step-by-step on how to do a landing page, okay. And keep watching, because then we're going to understand a lot about margins and paddings in order to have all of these things that we have in here to look like here, all stretched, okay. So we're going to do that now. Now, of course, we're going again to style. We're going to change the text color, and they have in white, as you can see here. And then, of course, we need to change the font size, okay? So they're using a font size of 1 rem. So we're going to do that right now. Go pixels, instead of pixels, we're going to rem, okay? They're using 1, okay? Now, that is looking quite good, okay? Now we're going to go and change the button, right? And you're going to learn how to get this hover effect. When you hover on the get proton VPN, it like changes the color, as you can see there. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to here, and then we can see that this is rounded, like it's a circle, right? So we're going to do it right now. We're going to go style, and as you can see, border radius, and we're going to do it as much as we can, okay? We're going to change, of course, the title, the text that we have in here. Get Proton VPN. Let's go. Get Proton VPN. And then type, I suggest you use default, okay? Because this is a button. Then the link where you want them to redirect. I'm not going to use anything. Now we're going to change the color, and you go again here. And if you scroll down a little bit here, we're going to see a lot of things. I understand. But, and it can be a little bit weird to see a lot of things, but you might be able to see a color. And this is exactly the color that we're using, okay? I needed to go inside the div. Div is basically what I was telling you. This is a flex, this is a container, right? So they're using a container here. And we just found the color. So we're going to basically copy the color, okay? We can actually use this, but I'm just going to copy it right here. So as we can see, we copied the color, but it is not working. It's not looking exactly the same. So what we're going to do is just change it with our own hands. So let's see if we change it a little bit like this, maybe like this. It's looking much better, but a little bit white, maybe like here. Yeah, it's looking way better. Now, what we want to do is actually change the style of the font, right? Of the title, yeah, the text that we have in here, yeah. So we're going to do that by doing the same. So we're going to go and style typography, and you're going to change it here, okay? So this button is looking a bit bigger, so we're going to change the size of the text. And I think that is looking a bit better. 16, yeah, 17. I think it is a little bit bigger. Yeah, that is looking a bit better. Now, once we have the button, okay, then we're going to go on to the next subtitle that is just a guarantee, right? We copy it, and then we paste it, and of course it is really small. So we're going to going to do it ourselves. We don't need to use exactly what they're doing, so we're going to do it ourselves. So maybe just like 12 is looking good. Yeah, 13 is looking way better. Yeah, in white, right? This is white, so yeah, white is going to look way better, right? Once we have that, then we're going to move on to the icons. Okay, we have here the icons. So we can actually download these icons. They are SVGs. It's a format of icons. For example, an image is a PNG, okay, format. But in this case, all the icons are in a SVG format, okay? So what we want is to find a similar icon like this. So what we're going to do is go in here, icon, and we're going to look for something similar. It doesn't really need to be exactly the same, but it can be similar. So what we're going to do is to scroll down until we see something that we like, okay? Maybe as we're doing 100 million plus accounts, we can use. So the good thing about this, if we don't find anything that you like, for example, in this case, I didn't find anything that I liked, you can actually upload SVGs, right? So what we're going to do is upload SVGs. We're going to go on Google and we're going to go on group of people SVG, right? And we're going to download, and we're going to download something that looks good. In this case, I am using svgrepo.com, and maybe I really like this one. Yeah, I like this one. So I'm going to download SVG again. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to go back to here. So you can actually, to upload an SVG, what you're going to do is upload an SVG here, right? And I just did it. So yeah, you can actually change the color after, yeah? So once we have that, then we're going to go and search for the next thing, okay? That is the star. We have a lot of stars here, so we're going to do that now. Star, yeah, and for example, this one is looking good, so I'm going to choose that one, and then I'm going to look for the flag. Now, in this case, we're going to do is search online for the flag of Switzerland, okay? Switzerland, okay, Switzerland, and SVG, right? It's as easy as doing that, okay? And again, we're going to SVG repo again and download this SVG. Download it, and exactly as we did earlier in list item 3, upload SVG, and here, okay? And then we're going to have our flag, okay? Now, what we're going to do is change, of course, the colors of these two ones and change the text. In this case, 100 million plus accounts, okay? So here, we're going to list item 1 and change it. In the second one, we're going to do exactly the same, 4.6 app rating. Here, rating, and then Swiss based, okay? And we are going to do that. Now it's looking like this. Now what we want to do is, of course, change the style, yeah, because it's not looking very, very good. So in the icons, you can actually change the color, yeah? We're going to do on white, and you can actually change the size as well, okay? In this case, I think it is looking good like this, okay? And then the text, we're going to put it on white, okay? Something a little, not white a lot, but something like that, okay? Now, I don't really like that it's really big, okay? The text is big, so I'm going to do something like that, yeah, something like that, 16 maybe, 17, and I'm going to increase the size of the icon so they'll look a little bit bigger, yeah? And this is clear what we're offering, right? And of course, what you can do is change the vertical position, as you can see here. In this case, I'm going to put it here, just in 0. And you can actually change the hover, okay? You can actually change the hover of these two stars, yeah? In this case, I'm not doing anything to do that. I'm not going to do that. Now that I remember, I need to do the hover of this one. So I'm going to go back and do that. What you need to do is style, and in the color, you're going to see that you're going to have enable to hover, okay? And the color, we want exactly the same color. We're going to copy it, and then in color, we're going to paste it, and we're going to change it a little bit. If we change the color, okay, something like here, and we publish it, it's going to look something like this, okay? In this case, I think if we just have the same, if we have here the same color, but we drag it down a little bit, I think it's going to look way good. Very good. You see a little bit of hover, not too much, okay? So yeah, now we have that, and what we need to see is, okay, we have this, of course we have this, and I think it's looking good. Now we need to change the color of the border. Yeah. So we're going to do that by the weight. The weight is good, and the color. Right. The color is white here. Now is really good. It's a bit gray. Okay, it's gray, something like that, and then the opacity is looking like that. Okay, and now the weight, you can change the weight. I think it's looking good like this. And yeah, it's looking good. Okay, and now we're going to filter in different logos. Okay, so in this case, what we need is different images here, right? So we need this one, save image. So I'm going to save the image. I'm going to save this image as well, and I'm going to save this image as well. Okay, so once we have that, there are actually SVGs. So what we're going to do is put on icons instead of images, right? So we're going to put our text here, and what we're going to do is go on icons. Okay, so what I was doing is I had a grid, as you remember, we had 2 grids, right? But I found a better way in order to not complicate it too much. If we use the icon list, okay, and we drag it without a grid, okay, just a normal container, okay, and then instead on the first one, instead of using SVG, we just use text, okay, and then on the other ones, we actually use the SVGs that we want. Then it is going to look much better. Okay, we're going to drag them, download, and download. We're going to drag them, and then we're going to upload SVG. We're going to choose this one, and then we're going to duplicate this one, and then we're going to choose another one. That was this one. Yeah, so now, as you can see, we have 3 images and a text. We're going to inline it, and we're going to do that with the icon, and we're going to size it so it looks a bit bigger. Yeah, so you can see the logos. We have a problem with the last one, so be careful with that one. In this case, we cannot, for some reason, see the whole logo. So I'm going to download it again. Let's see if it works now. And let's see, these things can happen. As these are not my SVGs, I'm just trying to replicate this website. It's not working very good, but you get the idea. Now we're going to change, of course, the text color. We're going to choose white. Yeah. This is looking a bit small, right? So we're going to do that like here. And it's looking much better, right? Now we just need to grab this image, save it, and drag it in here. Yeah, images just are really easy, right? Just use images. Okay, and as you can see right here, this page is looking much better. Now going on to the advanced pages, okay, this is really good, and we need to understand this a lot. We have different things, margins and paddings and widths and line serves and a lot of things. I don't want to overcomplicate it, but we need to understand the margins and the paddings. And to do that, I'm going to go on Google and I'm going to change an image of what paddings and margins are, right? So as you can see here, if we have a content, we have a padding, right? Like the separation between the contents and the border, right? It is a really weird thing to explain, but you're going to see right now an example of it. And then between the contents and the border, there is the separation. That thing is called padding. It's like the margin between the content and the border. Yeah. And then the margin is the separation between the content with the border included and the things that are in the website. Okay. So let me explain it a bit better. So this is margin, right? Now, if we change, we can actually unlink values, okay? So if I link it and I just put margin on top, we're going to drag everything down. But what if I do the padding though? If I unlink it and then I put padding on top, right? I am going to put separation between the text and the container of the text, if that makes sense, right? This is going to work in specific cases. This works really good when we want to separate different words. We use the break one, but sometimes we need to use the padding, okay? So we want to use sometimes the padding, okay? In this case, we're not going to use it, so we could put go pack and put it on 0. And sometimes you're going to use it, of course, on the top and the bottom, right? So you have a lot of space between things, right? But you can also use the margins, okay? I normally use the margins, okay? So in this case, what we're going to do is set everything on 0, okay? So 0 and 0, and we're going to do is we want here this thing centered. So we're going to do that right now. So we're going to put a lot of margin on top, and then we want to stretch down these things. Yeah, so we're going to put this a little bit near with the title. Yeah, the subtitle has to be near the title. So we're going to do that with the margin, of course. Top, in this case bottom, right? No, top. Yeah, we're going to put a minus, okay, because it's going to be really near. Yeah, you see that? Now exactly the same for the other one. For the button, we're going to do a minus. Sorry, remember always to unlink it, because if you don't do that, it is going to look something like this. So we don't want it. We're going back to 0 and a link, and the top we're going to something like that. Exactly the same for this one right there. This one I think is going to look much better now, and this one we need to put it right there. And now, as you can see here, we want it to look a little bit on the left zone, right on the left area. So we're going to do that with the left margin. Okay, here if we put minus, then we're going to have it here. Of course, instead of this, you can actually use the start in style. Okay, but in this case it's not working because it's already doing start, right? So we use the left. Okay, and it's going to look much better. Now our hero section, it looks a lot like this one. You can see there. And if we go and publish this website and we go on preview changes, this looks a lot look like this one. Okay. Now what we need to change is maybe the size, right? As you can see, this one is really small and this one is really big. So we need to change that. So we're going to do that with just changing the size, right? The size. We're going to do exactly the same for the subtitle. We're going to put a little bit more of here. It is looking good. One maybe, yeah. Then this is good. And other things are good as well. Okay. So once we go onto this page, we see that it's really separated the left zone and the right zone. Okay, the areas. So we're going to do exactly that. And we do it exactly the same with the layout of the left container. You remember this is actually a container, right? We have a grid with 2 sections, and then we have a container inside the left grid, okay, the left row of the grid. So what we want to do is separate it a lot from this one. So we're going to do that. We're going to change it by using the left one, okay? And that one is looking a lot like it, yeah? Now if we go in here, it's looking a lot like this one, okay? As you can see right there. A lot of the things I'm missing is maybe these things, yeah, that is like, it has a white background on it, yeah? So you need to find, of course, better SVGs. I didn't do a lot of search for this one, right? But let's go back onto my WordPress website here. What I'm going to do is actually make this whole area bigger. So this is covering the whole page, right? So I want the same for this one. So what I'm going to do is use the padding, as I said before, right? You remember we wanted to use the padding in order to stretch things out or make bigger the things that we want. So in this case, we're using it right now, and we want a top of 129 and exactly for the bottom zone, okay? So it's looking like this, okay? Now, maybe this one a little bit big in the upside, and now it's looking way better. Now, of course, we have the domain here, but we're going to change and delete this one, okay? So in this case, it is looking a lot better. Now, if you see this domain, don't worry. This is because I just asked ChatGPT because I didn't know how to hide this. And it's basically because we're using a temporary domain. So when you have a domain that is, you bought from Hostinger, then you're not going to see this nor this one, okay? Now it's looking a lot better. Now, if you want to learn how to build entire websites, I'm not going to go over everything of this website because it's going to take me a lot of time. But for example, if you don't know how to build things, in this case, what you can do, as I said, is go on the spec page and then just inspect this page here, yeah? And you can see, okay, this is our grids, okay? These are 3 grids. As you can see here, this is a grid, okay? And then we have different containers, okay? So if I were to do this, I'm not going to do it because it's going to take a long time to do, because we have a lot of things to do and I have to explain it. But if I were to do it, you just need to have 3 grids, okay? Just you have to think a little bit, okay? When you're building websites, if you want to continue just replicating things that you see that you like, you just have to think with your mind, okay, what is this? Are 3 things separated, and we have a lot of things inside. So this is a grid of 1 row and 3 columns. So you just need to add a grid, okay, of 3 columns, yeah, and you can separate it using the margin top, okay. In this case, you have to unlink it. Always remember that. Unlink it, top, and then you're going to use containers inside every single one of them, okay. Once you do that, then you can actually go and see, okay, we have a title, we have an icon, a price, so we have this as well. So I'm going to build this one, and then I'm going to end the video because otherwise it's going to take a lot of time. But just so you know, okay, let's go with this thing. Okay, now we need to understand this is white and the background is in another color. Yeah, so we maybe need to change the color. Okay, we are using a background overlay here, classic, and we're using a color that looks a bit like let me choose, that looks maybe like this. This is looking good. Okay, now when we do this, we're going to search for product free. Okay, we need a button. Yeah, we need a button here. Okay, and then the button is going to the right zone. Okay, so right, then we're going to title. Okay, title, this is a heading, so heading, and in the start, okay, you can actually change the start, but firstly we can do this. Now we need an icon. It is very important. We need an icon here. We need the price, so this is a title basically. Yes, it's a title heading with the left zone start, and then we have a button again. Okay, just keep in mind, you don't need to style everything at the same time. Just do the things even if it looks bad, and then you style it. Okay, that's the way I do it. Now we have an icon here as well. Okay, so we need an icon list because in this case we're going to use some text. If you use an icon, it's just an icon. If you use an icon list, then you're going to be able to use some text as well. Okay, now some more here heading, some more titles here. When we see here, this is basically an icon list. You can see the checkpoint, like the but like check, and then some text. So we're going to do exactly that. We're just going to duplicate this. If you do a right click, you're going to be able to duplicate and see a lot of options. So in this case, we're going to have 3 things. Yeah. Now let's go on the styling. Yeah. If we go on click here, I'm going to do this on gray. Okay, so we need this on gray. Okay, gray like that. Then a little bit more, so maybe less opacity. Like that is looking good. Okay, a little bit of border radius, a little bit, not much, just like that. And then 0% off. Okay, if you use this one, you're getting 0% off. Okay, in uppercase. Now we could do that, and then this is looking really good. I really like the style of this, like the color, right? So let me actually change this. Protein free. It is not an uppercase, so let me change it. Protein free, and I'm going to change the color. This color is really interesting. So I don't know what color is it, but if I go on inspect and go on to this one, we're going to see is 372-580. Now it's looking a lot like it, but we need to change the font. So what font are they using? They're using Arizona. Okay, Arizona. They're using Arizona. So let's go Arizona. Arizona. This is not looking like it. So let's look for something similar. No, I like it. No. Okay. Great. Something like this. Maybe this one. No. Okay, this one is looking good. Okay, I like it. Now, if we do light, then it's going to be looking a lot like it. Let's do 400 maybe. It's going to look good. Now we need the icon. of course. So we're going to save this as an SVG, as I said, upload SVG, upload it, insert the media, and on the start. Okay, now you can actually change the size of this. In this case, we're going to do it like this, just like that. Okay, so in this case, we didn't use a background on these ones because we wanted to use exactly some SVGs that we found. But let's use some ChatGPT in order to code so we can have exactly this background. So what we're going to do is just snip it. Okay, I'm going to take a screenshot, okay, and I'm going to save it. Okay, then when I save it, I will go to ChatGPT and I'll drag it and I'll say, hey, I have this icon in SVG, but I didn't have the background, okay, nor the like the border, right? Can you code it with CSS, please? And then we're going to have the options on advanced. If we're going to custom CSS, we're going to have the options to style it like that one, okay? So HTML, what we need to do is icon box, okay? CSS, we're going to copy this, okay? We're going to copy that one, paste it, and it's not looking anything. Now, you don't know a lot of this because this is HTML, but in this case, we are not using HTML. So we need the class, okay? When they give you the class and we're using an icon like we're doing right now, we're going to copy this one, okay? And we're going to go back here. And if we go on layout, you're going to see here the CSS ID and CSS classes. Now it's looking a lot like it. Maybe it is looking with this pink background, but you can always go to ChatGPT and change it. I tried to change it, it didn't work, but it is a bit heavy to change. So let's go on to the next one, okay? Now we need to do on price, okay? So this is really easy, just copy the price, put it in, of course, here, okay? And we're going to use exactly the same style. To use the same style, we can copy, go here and paste the style, okay? So we're going to have the same style, okay? Now, if you want to make, as you can see here, this slash month a bit smaller, you need a little bit of coding, yeah? What we need to do is go, hey, create a span, okay? You can actually snip this and tell him, yeah? But in this case, I know what it's called. Hey, create a span that is basically something to change the style of something within a heading or title or subtitle, okay? Get a span that makes the text a bit smaller than the one we are using. So we're going to copy this, okay? As you can see here, we're going to copy the span, all right? And then we're going to put it in here. And then it's looking exactly the same. So we're going to put 555. 6.5 maybe, yeah, that's looking a lot like it. And then we're going to close this, okay? In order to close it so it doesn't keep the same size on all the ones, you're going to see that now. I'm going to close it, yeah, and now we just have it, yeah. As you can see here, it's looking a lot like it. And then we're going to basically get this button, yeah, we're going to put in the center, yeah, in the center. We're going to basically delete all the opacity that we have. We only want the border, okay? The border, we want it to be solid, and we want it to have a color that is basically the purple that we were using. So we're going to go on this, copy the purple, and then paste it in here, okay? Then we have that purple exactly. Now what we want to do is go and do maybe just one, maybe two. She's looking good, okay? She is looking way good. Now let's go back a little bit with opacity. Okay, that's good, looking good. And now the border radius, okay? And we're going to change the style of the color, okay? We're going to change the color of the, what is it? Text color here. And we're going to use a black one, I think they're using. No, they're using purple, okay? So we're going to copy, sometimes when you already are making websites, it is a lot about just pasting a lot of things, right? So let me go back here and let me background type. We just don't need any background. So, and now we have, okay, it is not exactly the same. It's not exactly the same color. So it's 60A, 60A here. We're going to copy this and we're going to paste it here, okay? And exactly with this one, okay? All right. That is looking a lot like it. Now, then in order to put it like they have here, like big, yeah, if you're using the center as I was doing, it is looking like this, but we need to stretch it. And then if we change the left, the right, we're going to adjust it, of course. I'll link it first, and then we put on some bottom padding, yeah, that is going to look way better. And then we want this hover effect, okay? So we're going to copy this color. Okay, we're going to hover and the background type, classic color here, right? And that is going to look like that. And we need to change the text of the color because it's going to get white. There you go. And that is going to look way better, you see? And then we just need to adjust those last things, not credit card required. So just a credit card here. Card, maybe, yeah, this one is good. No credit card required. Okay, we change the color. So in this case, we're going to put it on some black is good, looking good. Text, we're going to put it all in black. Yep, all on black. Well, a little bit on gray, and we're going to make it smaller, something like it. And we're going to put it on the center. So how do we do it? On list, center, we go on link it, and then on the top, we just want to be close. Yep. And then we have there. Then we're going to put security privacy for everyone here. And I am just going to use the exactly same style. Okay. Sorry, not duplicated, but copy and paste. Right. Once we have that, security, just paste it here. Okay. And then just the last thing, yeah. There's going to be on green, right? It's going to be on greenish, something like that is looking really good. Now the size, maybe we want to put it something like it, or a bit smaller. Like that one is good. And now secure one device at a time. Secure that. And we have medium VPN speed. And the good thing about this is when we finish this one, yeah, then we're going to be able to duplicate it, yeah, and just do the other ones, okay? So let me do something. I need to change the style of the text, yeah, because this is way too big. Something like 16, and then for the line height, so we have some, some space in every line. That is looking better, okay? Now we're going to do is, you see this is space right here, so we're going to do exactly that. We're going to add some space, and it's called spacer, okay? Spacer. There, that spacer, we can increase it as much as we want. And then the line, that is called, again, the break, if you remember, or divider, okay? And when we have that, then another space, we can just duplicate it, below it, and this on gray, right? This in gray there. And that would be this. Now, if we want to put the border and just put it on white, okay, it is really easy. Just put in here, background overlay, as we just did before. We're going to put this on white, and then the border, you're going to see here, we are going to be able to put this. Okay, it wouldn't have any border, so we don't need any border then. So then we have the first card option, yeah? Of course, you can make this a little bit bigger, so it doesn't look quite big, okay? It does look a lot like big. And then we're gonna just duplicate this 2 times, and then we're going to adjust the other ones, okay? And then you do that yourself. Now, that was the video for today. I hope you really enjoyed it. This is what we did for ourselves with WordPress. So we almost nailed it, as you can see right here. It's almost the same, but for ourselves and our website. So I think it was a really, really good explanation. If you don't know anything, I really strongly recommend you to go on YouTube and search for specific things. Some questions that you may need and may have, you go on YouTube and just search it. And you can do the same with ChatGPT. You can actually go on ChatGPT and ask him. Yep. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you need anything from me or you want to work with me and build your website or landing pages, you have a link in the description as well to work with me and book a call with me to see what we need to do in order to accomplish your goals. So I hope you like this video. I hope you also like the landing page that we were building. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.